Why am I even doing this? How does recording things help you move on? Honestly, I don't think that's how it works. Saying it out loud just makes it go sit closer, right? They tell you to introduce yourself at the start of these things. I don't know who they are, and I've never had a good introduction. So, I'm Lior, 18 years old. I probably should use something more formal. I'm Lior Caelum Emberlain. I'm 18. Older brother, rent payer, and a smither's apprentice, which is a fancy way of saying I hit metal until it listens. I work in a repair yard. The boss says I have a knack for the forge. The room next to mine belongs to my sister, Kaylee. She's only 10, and she talks in her sleep when she's had too much sugar. Little half sentences about purple horses and the mean lunch lady. I keep a matchbox in my pocket. It's a dumb habit, I know. There's a lighter too, and my broken pendant. People think it's part of the aesthetic. The rings, the leather, the bracelets, the black clothes, the whole miserable teen disaster kit. It's not. The matchbox is a trick. A thing I can blame. If I start a fire, I can say it was a match. That it wasn't me. Okay. Start at the moment everything changed, right? Right. I was 16. We had gym last period. It was dodgeball. Because apparently a student's character is learned by throwing rubber spheres at people you secretly hate. Rowan was on my team. Best friends since we were small enough to share a single scarf and pretend it made us a two-headed monster. I don't know if I get to keep the part of the story when I tell it out loud. The part where we're just two idiots stumbling through high school together. I don't know how many soft moments the world allows before the doors come down. I wasn't a fighter back then. What I never told anyone, not even Rowan, was that the lights at home flickered when I couldn't pay on time. The landlord hated kids and loved late fees. I kept a little quarters for laundry and emergencies. The same budget line. Kaylee refused to eat instant noodles unless it drew smiley faces with ketchup. Anyway, dodgeball. The guys on the other side, 3 of them from the wrestling team, started aiming for my head. I laughed like I didn't care. My heart did its rabbit thing. Rowan edged closer the way he always did. He never told me to toughen up. He just made space with his shoulders. Rowan nudged me with his elbow. "You good?" he said. "Always," I lied. They targeted Rowan next. Not with balls, with words. You know the kind. Too soft, too weird, too artsy, too much defending the wrong friend. The kind of teasing that pretends to be a joke so you don't have the right to be angry. I caught a ball and threw it back hard. It was a good throw. It hit one of them in the chest. And he grinned. The ball he threw next kissed my cheekbone so hard my eyes watered. The gym laughed. Coach didn't see. Of course he didn't see. The game ended. We went back to the locker room. I took the far bench by the busted sink. Rowan sat next to me and talked about some old horror movie he found online. The one with the particle effects and the monster that looks like it was built out of tires and chewing gum. He can make anything sound like a miracle. I kept flexing my hands. There was the heat under my skin. It felt impossible. I closed my fist and opened them and repeated. All I could think was, I want water. I want ice. I remember Rowan laughing. Hey, you're vibrating. Chill. I tried to laugh back, but my mouth was too dry. I'm fine, was all I could say. It probably was one of my best lies. We walked out into the light of the late afternoon. The parking lot glittered with broken windshields no one had bothered to clean up. A boy on a skateboard ricocheted past and almost ate the curb. He recovered and threw his hands up like he meant it. And Rowan laughed again. Head tipped back, throat open to the sky. And then the wrestlers came out behind us. I could pretend it was an accident, that they just happened to walk our way. I could pretend the world is kinder than it is. Or I can tell how it happened. They followed us because it's more fun to watch people jump when you push. It wasn't cinematic. No slow clap. No circle chanting fight, fight, fight. Just a shoulder under Rowan's back. A muttered, watch it, princess. And a too loud laugh. I stepped forward because that's the script. Smaller friend goes first. Gets knocked aside. Learns humility. The tall one, Jensen, I think, smiled. Leave it, Rowan told me. His hands found my wrist. The heat in my palms spiked. I pulled my arm back. Or what, I remember telling him, trying to make my voice sound like it belonged to someone braver. Jensen leaned close enough for me to count his shaving nicks. Or I keep walking, but maybe I don't, he had said. Something snapped. Not like a twig. Like a rubber band you stretched too far and let fly in class. My hands burned. Light quickened under my skin. Heat rolled up my arms into my throat. I curled my fingers in reflex, and flames slicked between my knuckles. Rowan said my name. Soft, startled. I jerked back, thinking I was protecting him. The flame followed motion. Leapt for fabric, the future I didn't want. Rowan's hoodie sleeve caught. It happened too fast. Rowan slapped at it. I moved, finally, crashing into him, smothering his arm with my jacket, drove him into the asphalt. He made a sound I haven't been able to forget. The smoke hung. The wrestlers shouted useless advice. A junior I didn't know screamed for a teacher. The fire died. The smell, it didn't. Rowan's forearm was blistered, his skin furious. He shook. He kept saying, "It's okay, it's okay," while he stared at his own hand. "It's not," I said over and over, like that would make any of this better. Adults arrived. A teacher, a nurse, then an ambulance that took longer than it should have, considering the hospital was just a few blocks away. I handed the principal my matchbox. "I did it. I lit a match. I was stupid," I told her. Accidents are easier to write on forms. There were phones recording, sure, but right then, everyone wanted a story they understood. Even me. Consequences, liability. The principal said. The paramedics said something about 2nd degrees, maybe worse where the fabric melted. Rowan, he tried to joke about cheap polyester. It didn't land. They wouldn't let me ride in the ambulance. He looked back at me until the doors shut. And I remember walking. I didn't go home right away. Because home is Kaylee. Kaylee is the reason my legs were shaking. Because all I could think was, if they arrest me, who tucks her in? If the principal calls child services, do they split us? If I'm a danger, do they decide the safest place for her isn't with me? I ended up there anyway. There's no avoiding the people you love. Kaylee's shoes were beside the door. She'd painted a sun on the fridge that morning. Too many rays, a huge smile. It was honestly the little things. I grabbed the emergency cash from the coffee tin and told the neighbor to listen for Kaylee through the shared wall. If she wanders, tell her I'm at the store, I said. Again, I remember him, the way he said it so suspiciously. Like I had a secret girlfriend or a secret habit. Yeah, was all I could say. The hospital, it was too bright and too slow. It reeked of hand sanitizer, and there was a daytime talk show playing. They wouldn't let me in. The family only. So I sat where I could see the burn unit door. Every time I closed my eyes, I could see the orange of the fire. Every time I swallowed, I swear I could taste the inside of a toaster. Rowan's mom arrived with that brittle calm people wear when a phone call pulls the floor out. A nurse said they treated the burns, kept him overnight. He was asking, of all people, if I was okay. If I was okay. They let me in for 1 minute. Rowan propped up on a sterile white, arm wrapped. He tried to smile. "You look like you lost a fight with a chimney," I remember him rasping. "I'm sorry," I said again. "I'm so He cut me off before I could keep on apologizing, saying that it was just an accident. But I shook my head. Honestly, I don't think it was. I remember the way his eyes flickered, not with fear, but with understanding. It somehow was worse. I remember him being okay with it, and that we would figure it out. The way he said it. We. Not you. They kicked me out. I walked home. The neighbor said Kaylee hadn't needed anything. She'd gone to sleep. I stood in her doorway and watched her breathe. The stuffed rabbit she named Grey Bun was under her chin like a bodyguard. I wanted to tell her everything so she'd never have to find out later and hate me for the surprise. I wanted to tell her nothing so she keeps sleeping like this forever. I lay on my bed and stare at my hands. I press my palms together. The itch, it became like a pressure. And the pressure became like a push. I remember pulling my hands apart fast. And it felt like breaking a magnet. A thread of flame strung between them. And dropped when I slammed my hands shut. No scorch, no mark. It almost felt like a promise. Like it was saying, I'm here whenever you aren't careful. I didn't sleep. At dawn, I went back to the hospital. Visiting hours weren't open, but rules are suggestions, right? Rowan was awake, trying to tie a straw with one hand. I remember him saying that I shouldn't be here. And he was right. Probably, but should and am broke up last night, I told him. He smiled for real, but then winced. I hate that it was all because of me. I didn't light a match, I remember confessing. I know, he said, like he'd been saving it for me. I think it's me. I remember him whispering, I know that part too, before he gestured towards a tiny metal sink. Can you do it here with water? I remember him asking. This is a hospital, I hissed. But the truth was, I wanted to try it so badly then that my teeth ached. Terror and curiosity shook in my chest. I remember turning the faucet to a thin thread. Held my hand under it, breathed in, breathed out. I thought about the principal's office and liability. I thought about Kaylee's son with too many rays. I thought about what happens if I can't control this and someone decides we shouldn't live together anymore. The heat rose. Not like a roar, like a tide. A wick of flame unfurled from my palm. It crowned around the water. It didn't thunder, it kind of murmured. Steam bloomed and disappeared into the ceiling. Rowan said my name, fear braided with awe. Don't name it, I had whispered to him, Because naming things just makes it harder to take back. We watched it for a few breaths. I closed my hands, and the flame cut off like someone pinched the candle. The room, it kind of smelled like new rain and metal. Okay, now what? Rowan asked. Now what? Go home, make sure the smoke alarms work, practice where nothing would care, learn the rules. Because fire likes rules. Oxygen, fuel, heat. Maybe if I learn them, it learns me back. Now we practice, I told him. And he agreed, not here. Before he lifted his wrapped arm. Preferably not anywhere my mom can find out. And that was the deal we made. We didn't talk about Jensen or videos or the word witch sticking like gum. We didn't talk about child services or whether a system would call my love for my sister unstable because I can do a thing they didn't test for. We talked about movies. How hospital gelatin tastes like regret. And the ice cream there left a weird aftertaste. When they kicked me out again, I didn't go to school. I went to the old quarry. It's fenced in and water sits at the very bottom. There's little scorched circle marks where last summer's kids built bonfires and probably told lies. I took out the matchbox, struck one, watched it bloom, and blew it out. My hands were bare. Rule 1, I told the empty air. Breathe. Rule 2, don't run from it. Steer it. Rule 3, you're not allowed to hurt the people you love. The wind listened like a neighbor. I opened my palm. The heat answered, curious. An arrow flame sat up. I held it like a bird, gentle, firm, and spoke without words. We do not touch Kaylee. We do not touch Rowan. We do not touch the people who keep the light on. The flame didn't speak back, obviously, but it lowered itself. I closed my hand, letting the flame become a memory and a vow. Two years later, I still carry the matchbox. I still lie when I have to. I still count quarters and draw ketchup smiley faces if it makes the noodles edible. Kaylee believes my hands are magic, in a good way. Like a birthday party kind. Some nights she asks for candle time before bed. I light a tea light in a jar and set it on her dresser while she reads to Greybun. I sit in the doorway and watch the way the flame makes her freckles look like stars. When she's asleep, I blow it out and wait for the tightness in my chest to pass. I haven't told her about the parking lot. I don't know how to explain that the first time I really met myself, I hurt someone I love. I don't know how to tell a 10-year-old that power feels less like strength and more like house training a wild animal you invited in. She already knows enough. She doesn't need the rest yet. I tell Rowan everything. He listens. We practice sometimes out by the quarry or in back alleys. He wears long sleeves, even in the summer. When strangers ask, he shrugs and says, "Kitchen accident." It's not a lie, exactly. I'm just a kitchen. Some days I can call a flame no bigger than a match head and bounce it on my thumbnail. Some days it jumps like a nerve and the smoke alarm screams and the upstairs neighbor pounds the ceiling with a broom. I still don't sleep right. Every loud knock sounds like a door social workers might use. I keep a go bag under the bed. T-shirts, toothbrush, papers, Kaylee's school ID, and the folded sun she drew. The one with too many rays. If the worst happens, we run. If the worst happens, I don't let go of her hand. People think fire is loud. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a roar that drowns your name. But mostly, it's a whisper. It tells you how easily everything is to ruin. That you're one breath away from ash every hour of every day. I can't unburn. I can't give Rowan the afternoon back before the fire, before the smell, before the door closed and I had to look at myself and choose what kind of monster I was going to be. What I can do is teach the fire what family means. I can show it the line between us and everything else. I can keep matches in my pocket and secrets in my throat and practice until my palms remember softness again. My name is Lior. I tell bedtime stories to a girl who trusts me. I am trying every day not to let the thing inside juice for me. I can't unburn. Can't undo what I did to Rowan. But I can decide where the light goes now.
Thank you all so much for listening. If you want to hear more about Lior or meet some of the others in his world, let me know in the comments. I've got plenty more stories to share, and every listen, like, comment, or subscription helps keep the fire going. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and take care.